Trust is powerful, especially when it's built on blood. But what happens when the one person you'd never doubt becomes the reason your life falls apart? This is the story of betrayal, regret, and a lesson that came too late. Here's how the story begins. David and Jason were more than brothers. They were best friends. Growing up, they shared everything: clothes, dreams, even secrets. David, the older one, was hardworking and calm. Jason, the younger, was charming but restless. Despite their differences, David trusted Jason with his life. When David finally started his own successful business, he didn't think twice before bringing Jason in. Family first, he always said. The business began to grow fast. Money was flowing and opportunities were everywhere. David handled the big decisions, while Jason managed finances. At first, everything seemed perfect, but behind the scenes, Jason had a secret. He had been making risky investments without telling David. Huge amounts of money were disappearing, but he kept covering it up with fake reports. One day, David received a call that changed everything. Their company account was nearly empty. Shocked and confused, he confronted Jason. At first, Jason denied everything, but the truth couldn't stay hidden for long. "I was going to fix it," Jason said nervously. "I just needed more time." But it was too late. The business collapsed. Debts piled up. Years of hard work vanished overnight. David lost everything: his company, his reputation, and worst of all, his trust. The betrayal cut deeper than the financial loss. "How could you do this to me?" David asked, his voice filled with pain. Jason had no answer. Family gatherings stopped. Calls went unanswered. The bond they once shared was completely broken. Months later, David started rebuilding his life from scratch. But this time, he was different, wiser, more cautious. He learned a painful truth. Moral lesson everyone watching should learn from this story. Not everyone you trust will protect you, even if they share your blood. Trust is not just about love, it's about responsibility. And sometimes, the people closest to you can hurt you the most. So be careful who you trust, because not every brother is loyal. If you find this story interesting, don't forget to like, comment, follow, and share. Stay tuned for more mind-blowing stories. They say love can be complicated, but what happens when one man decides to live two lives at the same time? This is the shocking story of a wedding day that turned into a disaster no one saw coming. Here's how it all started. David was known as a smooth talker, handsome, successful, and always confident. He had a way of making every woman feel like she was the only one in the world. But behind that charming smile was a dangerous secret. For over a year, David had been dating two women, Sophia and Isabella, in two different cities. Both women were intelligent, kind, and deeply in love with him. And somehow, neither knew the other existed. Instead of choosing one, David made a reckless decision. He would marry both of them on the same day, at the same venue, but at different times. His plan? A private morning ceremony with Sophia, followed by an afternoon wedding with Isabella. He believed everything was perfectly arranged: different guest lists, quick transitions, and just enough lies to keep both women in the dark. To him, it was genius. To reality, it was a ticking time bomb. The morning ceremony began beautifully. Sophia walked down the aisle, glowing with happiness. Friends and family cheered as she said, "I do," completely unaware of the betrayal unfolding behind the scenes. David smiled, exchanged vows, and sealed the marriage with a kiss. But instead of celebrating, he rushed the reception, making excuses about urgent business matters. Sophia felt something was off, but she trusted her husband. Just hours later, the venue was reset. New decorations, new guests, a completely different bride. Isabella arrived, excited and emotional. To her, this was the happiest day of her life. David stood at the altar again, acting like nothing had happened earlier. And just like before, the ceremony began. But fate had other plans. One of Sophia's cousins, who had stayed behind to collect forgotten items, noticed the venue being redecorated. Confused, she asked questions. Then she saw Isabella in a wedding dress. Suspicion turned into shock. Shock turned into anger. Within minutes, calls were made. Messages were sent. Photos were shared. And just like that, the truth began to spread. Right in the middle of Isabella's vows, the doors burst open. Sophia walked in, still in her wedding dress. Silence filled the room. David's face went pale. Isabella looked confused, then terrified. Sophia stepped forward, her voice shaking but strong. "Ask him who he married this morning." The crowd erupted. Guests whispered. Phones came out. Chaos exploded. Isabella turned to David, tears forming in her eyes. "Is it true?" David couldn't speak. That silence was his confession. Both weddings were immediately called off. What was meant to be a celebration turned into humiliation. Sophia walked away in anger. Isabella walked away in tears. And David? He lost everything. His reputation was destroyed. His relationships ended. And his name became a warning story people would never forget. So guys, trying to live two lives might seem exciting, but the truth has a way of catching up. In the end, David didn't just break hearts, he destroyed his own future. Because some lies are too big to hide. Don't forget to like, comment, follow, and share. Stay tuned for more interesting stories. They say the past should stay in the past, but what happens when it returns? Not for love, but for revenge. Here's how it all started. Daniel had finally moved on. After a painful breakup with his ex, Olivia, he rebuilt his life from scratch. A new job, a better apartment, and most importantly, peace of mind. He was now in a healthy relationship with Sophia, a kind and supportive woman who helped him heal. Everything seemed perfect until the past knocked again. One evening, Daniel received a message from an unknown number. "I need to see you. It's urgent. Olivia." He hesitated. Sophia warned him. "Be careful. Some people don't come back to fix things, they come back to destroy." But curiosity got the better of him. Olivia looked different, calm, almost too calm. "I've changed," she said softly. "I just want closure." Daniel agreed to sit with her for a few minutes. They talked. She apologized. It felt genuine, almost convincing. But what Daniel didn't know, someone was watching. The next day at work, everything turned upside down. Security walked into his office. "Daniel, you need to come with us." He was accused of leaking confidential company information. Shocked and confused, Daniel kept repeating, "I didn't do anything." But the evidence said otherwise. Emails, documents, all traced back to him. Sophia refused to believe it. "This doesn't make sense," she said. "You're being framed." Then she remembered the meeting with Olivia. They hired a tech expert to dig deeper, and what they found changed everything. The emails were sent from a device linked to Olivia. She had hacked into Daniel's old accounts he once shared with her during their relationship. Daniel confronted Olivia. "Why would you do this?" She smirked. "You moved on like I never mattered. You were supposed to suffer." Her plan was simple: destroy his career, ruin his life, make him feel the pain she felt. With solid evidence, Daniel cleared his name. Olivia was arrested for fraud and cybercrime. His boss apologized. "You've been through a lot. Take your time." Daniel walked out, not broken but stronger. Later that night, Sophia held his hand. Some people don't deserve access to your life, especially after they leave it. Daniel nodded. "I've learned. Not everyone who comes back deserves a second chance." Moral lesson everyone watching should learn. Sometimes, the biggest danger isn't strangers. It's the people who once knew you too well. Don't forget to like, comment, follow, and share. Stay tuned for more mind-blowing stories.